Today we're going to try and derive the quadratic formula. It's like this. So it's x is equal to minus b, then plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And it comes from this equation, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And remember, in our last discussion, I'd said that this is a constant because its variable here has got a power of 0, which makes it 1. Then you have a power of 1 here and a power of 2. So that's the quadratic formula. So from this, we derive that equation. So now how do we go about it? So we have to make sure, like I always say, write down the whole equation before you start working on it. So now here we have ax squared plus bx plus c, right? These solutions, okay, they need to have 1 as a constant here, okay, or a coefficient. So I'm going to divide the whole equation by a. Now notice I'm not dividing the entire thing like one line over a. I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing this step by step. And this is something I always emphasize. Solve step by step. Make one change, write the whole thing again. Okay? So we have that, then we have c over a, it remains, then we have 0 still here. Now, understanding how to derive this equation, you need to understand a method called completing the square. So now, completing the square works off the basis that you have this form of equations, okay? X squared plus, let's say 4x plus 4 equal to 0. So now here you have a square of 2, right? And then here you have the sum of 2. You can have an equation like this, okay? Here you have a square of 1, here you have sum of 1s. And then you can also have it in this form where there's 6x plus 9, okay, is equal to 0. So you have the square of 3 here, and then here you have the sum of 3's, okay? So we work off that basis. The square is here, and then the sum of the square roots is there. The square root of this square here. So we are going to try and make this into that format. But how do we do that? We do that by first clearing this portion. So we're going to clear that portion. We can quickly take it to the other side. Or we can show everything we are doing, which is what we like to do here, okay? Show how these things are moving. So we cancel that. Remember, I'm just going to change this part and I'll write the whole equation again. This is how you make sure that your work is clean and shows proper progress, okay? So nobody can get confused here. They can see what happened here to get here and what happened here to get there, showing proper steps, right? So here we have x squared, right? Now I'm going to try and create a square here. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to look at this, right? I'll divide by 2 so that I get half of this, okay? I get half of that. Then that's the same one that I'm going to square, right? So I'll do x squared plus b over a x. I don't interfere with this, but I make sure that I add the square of this same one here. Now, I'm not going to square this directly. Remember, we're saying this is the sum of the square roots of this one here. So now, in order that I can get a sum that gives me this, I need half of this. So if I do, I'll do it from here. If I do b over a right? I divide by 2 because I need half of that. This becomes like b over a, right, times 1 over 2, which is what? The 2 joins with the a and it becomes 2 over a. So I'm not messing around with this, but I'm just bringing this here and then I'll square it. But now what happens is that I've not balanced this equation because I've changed something on one side, which I need to put on the other side as well to create the balance, you know. Works almost like a beam balance. Okay, so now we've balanced it because whatever we did here, we've also done the other side, right? So now what are we going to do? We're going to try and simplify this to create the squares that I talked about. So this one will be x plus 2 squared, right? This one will be x plus 1 squared. This one will be what? X plus 3 squared. Right. So now that's what we have there. But here now we are going to show our work, like we always emphasize. So here we are looking for halves of this that can give us that can give us this. So here we have b over 2a x plus b over 2ax plus b over 2a squared is equal to minus c over a plus b over 2a squared here, right? So now what are we going to do? We're going to simplify this side. I'll pull out the x and then I have x here plus b over 2a, right? Then I'll also pull out the b over 2a here because it's common here and common there. So I'll pull it out. And then what do I have remaining inside? Here there'll be x plus b over 2a squared. No, not squared, sorry. Now it's not squared. It's just like this. Is equal to minus c over a plus or minus b over 2a. But we haven't changed anything here, so that remains just the way it is. Now what's our next step here? Our next step is that this is common, like I showed you in the other examples. So this will be b over 2a, right? We factor it out. What do we have remaining here in this set? We have x. What do we have remaining in this set? If we take out this, we have this remaining, which is plus b over 2a, right? Is equal to minus c over a plus b over 2a squared here. And then we can see here that what we've created for ourselves is a square. So here x plus b over 2a, we square it, is equal to minus c over a plus b over 2a squared. So we've reached crucial part now where we've done all the necessary changes and now it's just a matter of concluding. So I'll write this equation here. Okay, I'll write it here so that we continue with it. So I'll just do this line here and then we continue, right? So I'll write it down again. Don't feel lazy to write it down again, especially if maybe you are going on to the next page. Just make sure that you write down the previous state where you were and then you continue from there. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, now what are we going to do here? What we're going to do is that we're going to find the square root of this. So I'll find square root here and then I'll find square root here. So what's the square root here? The square root will be x plus b over 2a is equal to, there we have plus or minus, Now I'll bring this positive this side, so it will be b squared over b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. All right, so this is like that. Then I take this guy, take him to the other side. In fact, let me maintain this one here. So at first I conclude with what I have to do here. So here we know that I can simplify this also. Okay, so it will be the common denominator here is 4a squared. This into there, it's 1 times b squared. We have b squared here. Then here, a into 4a squared, we get 4a. 4a times c, we have 4a times c. Okay, now we can remove this to the outside. I'll also take this to the other side in the same step. Is equal to minus b over 2a plus or minus the square root of this is 4a, is 2a. So we have plus or minus 1 over 2a. Then we have the square root of what remains inside, which is b squared minus 4ac, because the 2a is what has come from here. Right, so we simplify further. We have x is equal to minus b, right? Because I'm using this as a common denominator there, 2a, and then I have plus or minus, then inside here we have the same b squared minus 4ac. So you will see that from there we have derived the equation, right? And so all these are constants this side, and then our only variable is there. So meaning that if we go to this equation and maybe there's a 2 here, there's a 3, and there's a 5, those are the only numbers that we're going to use here. We're not going to put any x or here. We're not going to put any x this side. Okay, so the variable is here, the constants are there, but there are rules here. If you want to get, if you look at the equation and let's say what is the set of solutions for this, you look at this, how this is the result that this will give you. So if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then you know that you have 2 solutions for x. Okay, or they say 2 real solutions. Now here we want to show, and if you have 4ac is equal to 0, right? If this whole thing is 0, it means that it will cancel out this whole section. Okay, meaning that you just have this one and that one remaining, meaning that you've removed the plus or minus portion, meaning that you have what? 1 real solution for x, right? And then if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then you know that if this is less than 0, then you won't get any real numbers. So solutions not real. Okay, so that's when now you get this minus 1, which gives you I. Okay, so anyway, this is how you derive, and then you also need to understand quite a bit of this, because they can just give you a form of an equation, a quadratic equation, and ask you how many solutions has it got, what kind of solutions are you expecting. So it just says this portion here. Okay, all right, and then there are no solutions when a is equal to 0 for here. Okay, because you cannot divide by 0. All right, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel.